Welcome to the Hidden Wealth Coins. Imagine finding a tiny 5-cent coin that looks ordinary, feels ordinary, yet secretly holds the power to rewrite your life overnight. These Jefferson Nickels carry hidden stories of war, mistakes, perfection, and survival. In rare conditions, one coin can explode in value, shocking collectors worldwide. If you own one, pause, look closer, because history, mystery, and unimaginable wealth might be resting silently in your hand right now, today, forever, waiting. First up, imagine holding in your hand a small, everyday coin, a tiny 5-cent piece, and learning that this unassuming disc might be worth more than a house, more than a car, more than many people earn in a lifetime. That is the mythos, the mystique, and the thrill of the Jefferson Nickels series. For collectors, coin lovers, and treasure seekers, few objects are as fascinating as the nickel, a coin that has been in American pockets for nearly a century, quietly carrying history with it. The Jefferson nickel, first released in 1938 and named for the third President of the United States, Thomas Jefferson, has experienced many changes, from subtle design tweaks to wartime metal shifts and decades of minting. But among all the dates and mints, there is always that burning question in every collector's heart: which one is the most valuable? Which coin could, if you had it, change your life forever? Now, let's turn to the year 1965. The year 1965 might not immediately scream rare treasure to everyone. It was a bustling time in American history, with cultural shifts, space race fever, and everyday life moving fast. In the world of nickels, 1965 was a normal production year at the Philadelphia and Denver mints, producing millions and millions of Jefferson Nickels to meet the demand of a growing economy. Because of that massive production, most 1965 Jefferson Nickels are extremely common today. Millions were struck, and they circulate widely. That means most 1965 nickels are only worth face value or just a few cents above it if they're worn but intact. So if you have a 1965 nickel in your pocket or jar, it's unlikely to be the magic coin that makes you wealthy, unless something extraordinary is going on. The real magic happens not in the normal, but in the exceptional. In the world of coins, value is driven by rarity, condition, and often errors, those quirks in the minting process that accidentally produce something unusual. A coin minted in huge numbers can become astonishingly valuable if there's a rare variation or misprint that slipped through quality control. For Jefferson Nickels, including those around the 1960s, the most valuable pieces are usually not normal circulation coins, but those with incredible errors or those preserved in pristine, uncirculated condition with proof-like surfaces. Imagine a coin that looks as if it just left the mint today, untouched by pocket wear, abrasions, or scratches. That's a coin that collectors will fight over. In exceptional cases, a 1965 nickel, if it were to have a spectacular minting error, could command thousands, even tens of thousands of dollars. We're talking about die cracks, double dies, missing elements, or strange metallic anomalies that make the coin look otherworldly. Some collectors have been known to pay astonishing sums for the rarest of errors. But here's an important truth. No verified 1965 Jefferson nickel has ever been documented to be worth millions of dollars in today's market. If you believe you have a coin worth that much, you are holding something truly extraordinary. And in that case, you would want to have it authenticated immediately by top experts. Yet even with that, coins rarely cross the $1 million threshold without historically proven rarity, lineage, or a connection to a major find. So where do the legends come from? Why do so many people dream of a nickel turning into a fortune overnight? It's because every coin tells a story. Some coins have been lost for decades in attic drawers, only to be rediscovered by someone who knows what they're looking at. The idea that a humble nickel could change a person's life overnight fires up the imagination. Let's talk about what truly gives value in the coin world. First is condition. Coins are graded on a scale from poor to perfect. A coin in mint state, with brilliant surfaces and no signs of wear, is far more valuable than one that has scratched landscapes from decades of circulation. Second is rarity. How many of that exact coin, with its exact characteristics, exist in the world? Combine perfect condition with a wildly rare variation, and you have a coin that collectors will pay a king's ransom for. For example, in other years, Jefferson Nickels with missing letters, off-center strikes, or double designs have fetched impressive prices at auctions. One error coin might look almost normal to the untrained eye, but to a collector, it's a once-in-a-lifetime find, a piece of history that tells a story no normal coin can. Now, imagine you took a 1965 nickel out of circulation, and to your amazement, it sparkles like new, like it was never used. That alone might make it worth many times face value. But imagine further that it has something unusual. Maybe a doubling of Jefferson's face, maybe a missing date, maybe a strange composition. That would immediately draw the attention of numismatists around the world. If you think you have such a coin, one with unbelievable condition or a mysterious anomaly, please don't spend it on everyday purchases. Don't digitize it in a pocket or let it sit in a drawer gathering dust. Instead, take it to a reputable coin grading service. Let experts examine it, photograph it, and assign it a professional grade. That step can turn a common coin into something of remarkable worth. And maybe, just maybe, you will discover that your nickel is worth far more than its face value. Maybe it will be a prized collector piece that brings admiration and value. But the real treasure is in understanding what makes these coins special, the history they represent, the craftsmanship they embody, and the thrill of the coin hunt itself. Because in the world of Jefferson Nickels, every coin holds a story, and some stories are worth their weight in gold. Second up, there are moments in life when the smallest object can carry the heaviest destiny, and the 1964 Jefferson nickel is one of those objects that has fueled dreams, rumors, and late-night searches through old drawers for decades. At first glance, it looks like an ordinary 5-cent coin, something people once tossed on a counter without a second thought. But hidden inside its metal is a story that continues to shake the world of coin collectors, treasure hunters, and everyday people who believe fortune can arrive without warning. The year 1964 holds a special place in American coin history. It was a time of massive coin production, economic pressure, and public fear that coins might disappear from circulation. Because of this, the U.S. Mint produced an enormous number of Jefferson Nickels that year. Millions upon millions were struck, flooding the country with 5-cent pieces bearing Thomas Jefferson's calm portrait and Monticello standing proudly on the reverse. Because so many were made, most people assume every 1964 Jefferson nickel is common and worthless beyond face value. That assumption is exactly why so many valuable coins have been ignored, spent, or lost forever. History has shown again and again that value is not always created by low numbers alone, but by strange accidents, exceptional preservation, and mysterious variations that were never meant to exist. Among 1964 Jefferson Nickels, the true power lies in condition. A coin that has never been used, never touched by circulation, and never scarred by time can become something entirely different from the rest. When a coin survives decades without wear, retaining its sharp edges, flawless fields, and mirror-like surfaces, it enters a different universe of value, where collectors are willing to pay astonishing prices. Then there are the whispers, the stories of abnormal 1964 nickels that don't behave like normal coins. Coins with double details so subtle that only trained eyes notice them. Coins with strange surface textures, metal flow lines, or striking pressure anomalies that give them an almost unreal appearance. These are the coins that spark bidding wars, because they are not just money, they are minting accidents frozen in time. Some collectors believe that a small number of 1964 Jefferson Nickels were struck under unusual circumstances, using dies that were worn, damaged, or improperly prepared. When this happens, the coin can display characteristics that were never intended, creating a one-of-a-kind artifact. In rare cases, a single error combined with perfect condition can elevate a simple nickel into a six-figure or even higher conversation among elite collectors. The legends grow even stronger when people talk about coins that appear almost too perfect to be real. Coins with razor-sharp details, full steps on Monticello, blazing luster, and surfaces untouched by human hands. These coins feel more like museum pieces than pocket change, and when they appear at auctions, the room changes. Silence falls, and paddles rise quickly. It is important to understand that claims of a 1964 Jefferson nickel being worth millions are extremely rare and often misunderstood. However, the coin world is full of surprises, and history has proven that previously overlooked coins can explode in value when a new discovery, variety, or condition benchmark is recognized. What today seems ordinary can tomorrow become legendary. This is why so many people believe that somewhere, in a forgotten collection or an old family box, there may exist a 1964 Jefferson nickel unlike any other. A coin that escaped circulation. A coin that carries an error no one documented. A coin that, once authenticated, could shock the entire numismatic community and rewrite value expectations overnight. What makes this belief so powerful is that it has happened before, not just with nickels, but with pennies, quarters, and other coins that were once dismissed. The idea that a 5-cent coin could hold unimaginable wealth taps directly into human hope, curiosity, and the belief that destiny sometimes hides in plain sight. If you believe you have a 1964 Jefferson nickel that looks different, sharper, heavier, brighter, or stranger than others, the worst thing you can do is treat it casually. Every scratch, every fingerprint, every careless drop can destroy value instantly. Coins at the highest level of worth are not just collected, they are protected like priceless art. The journey from pocket change to potential fortune does not happen in a single moment. It begins with awareness, patience, and respect for history. A coin must be examined, preserved, and professionally evaluated before its true nature is revealed. Only then can its real story, and its real value, be understood. What keeps the legend alive is not just money, but mystery. The idea that one small coin can connect the past to the present, and perhaps even change a future, is irresistible. That is why people keep searching, keep checking dates, and keep believing that their ordinary coin might be extraordinary. And so the 1964 Jefferson nickel remains more than a piece of metal. It remains a symbol of possibility. Whether worth 5 cents or far more, it reminds us that history does not always announce itself loudly. Sometimes, it waits quietly in your hand, asking only one thing, that you look closer before letting it go. Third up, there are certain coins in American history that refuse to be ordinary, and the 1943 P. Jefferson nickel is one of them. At first glance, it looks like a simple 5-cent coin, something millions of people once carried without a second thought. But behind its dull gray tone and wartime appearance lies a story of desperation, innovation, and hidden wealth that continues to captivate collectors even today. The year 1943 was not a normal year for the United States. The world was at war, and every resource mattered. Metals that once seemed abundant suddenly became precious, and the U.S. Mint was forced to rethink how coins were made. Nickel, a key metal for military equipment, was urgently needed for the war effort, and that decision alone transformed the Jefferson nickel into something completely different from anything minted before or after. Instead of the usual metal mix, the 1943 Jefferson nickel was created with a special wartime composition that included silver. This single change gave the coin a unique identity and a permanent place in history. The P mint mark, placed boldly above Monticello for the first time ever, signaled something extraordinary. It was not decoration, it was a declaration that this coin was born in crisis. Millions of these coins were produced, yet many never survived in high condition. They passed through exhausted hands, crowded factories, soldiers' pockets, and post-war economies. Time was not gentle with them. That is why finding a 1943 P. Jefferson nickel today in exceptional condition feels almost impossible, like uncovering a survivor from another era untouched by chaos. Collectors understand that value is not only about age, it is about survival. A 1943 P. nickel that still shows strong details, clean surfaces, and original shine is already rare. When that rarity is combined with sharp steps on Monticello and a powerful strike, the coin enters a completely different league, where value no longer follows normal rules. Then there are the coins that were never meant to exist as they do. Wartime production was fast, pressured, and imperfect. Dies were reused, equipment was stressed, and mistakes happened. Some 1943 P nickels show unusual characteristics, strange textures, doubled elements, or metal irregularities that instantly set them apart. These coins are not just currency, they are historical accidents locked in metal. The idea that a 1943 P. Jefferson nickel could be worth a fortune is not just fantasy, it is rooted in how collectors think. When a coin combines historical importance, rare composition, extreme condition, and an unexpected variation, its value can explode beyond expectations. In elite circles, the right coin can trigger intense competition, driving prices into astonishing territory. Stories have circulated for years about wartime nickels discovered in forgotten collections, wrapped in cloth, hidden in drawers, or sealed away by people who never realized what they had. These discoveries fuel the belief that unimaginable wealth can still be hiding in plain sight, waiting for the right moment and the right eyes. What makes the 1943 P. Jefferson nickel so powerful is symbolism. It represents sacrifice, urgency, and adaptation. It is a reminder that even during humanity's darkest hours, history was being quietly recorded, not just in books, but in coins that passed silently from hand to hand. Claims of million-dollar values often come from misunderstanding, but that does not erase the truth that the rarest and finest examples of wartime nickels are among the most desired coins in American numismatics. The difference between an ordinary coin and a life-changing one can be invisible to the untrained eye. That is why knowledge matters more than luck. A person who understands what to look for, surface quality, strike strength, unusual features, and originality, holds the real advantage. Without that awareness, history can slip away for the price of a soda. If someone believes they possess a 1943 P. Jefferson nickel that looks unusually sharp, unusually clean, or strangely different, the worst mistake is impatience. Rushing to sell, mishandling the coin, or trusting the wrong opinion can erase its potential forever. Coins of real power demand respect. The truth is that not every 1943 P. nickel will make someone rich. But the few that sit at the very top, preserved perfectly, struck beautifully, or marked by rare errors, are the reason the legend refuses to die. They are proof that history sometimes rewards patience in extraordinary ways. In the end, the 1943 P. Jefferson nickel is more than a 5-cent piece. It is a survivor of war, a witness to sacrifice, and a symbol of hidden possibility. Whether resting quietly in a collection or still waiting to be discovered, it reminds us that fortune does not always announce itself loudly. Sometimes it whispers from the past, asking only that you listen before letting it go. Fourth up. Sometimes the most powerful stories in history are not written in books, but pressed into metal, and the 1945 Jefferson nickel is one of those silent storytellers. At first glance, it looks modest, almost forgettable, yet this small 5-cent coin carries the weight of a world emerging from war. To collectors, it is not just money, it is a symbol of survival, transition, and hidden possibility that still echoes decades later. The year 1945 was a turning point for the United States and the entire world. World War II was coming to an end, industries were shifting, and the nation was holding its breath between destruction and hope. Coins struck during this period were not created in calm conditions. They were produced under pressure, urgency, and uncertainty, and that tension left its mark on every wartime Jefferson nickel. The 1945 Jefferson nickel belongs to the special group of wartime nickels made with a unique silver-based composition. This alone separates it from most other 5-cent coins. It was not just currency, it was a compromise between necessity and tradition. The large mint mark above Monticello was a bold signal that this coin was different, born from a moment when metal itself was part of the war effort. Although millions of 1945 nickels were struck, very few survived in exceptional condition. These coins traveled through hands that were rebuilding lives, reopening businesses, and transitioning back to peace. Wear came quickly, and preservation was rarely a priority. That is why a 1945 Jefferson nickel that still appears sharp, clean, and vibrant feels almost unreal today. Collectors know that wartime nickels are not judged like ordinary coins. Their value is shaped by strike quality, surface originality, and how well the detail survived hurried production. Many were weakly struck, especially on Monticello, making fully detailed examples extremely difficult to find. When one appears with strong definition and smooth fields, it commands immediate respect. Then there are the unusual coins, the ones that break expectations. Wartime minting conditions were far from perfect, and errors were more common than people realize. Some 1945 nickels display odd textures, unusual impressions, or subtle doubling that instantly sets them apart. These coins feel different in the hand, as if they carry a secret no one noticed at the time. Stories have circulated for years about rare wartime nickels being discovered long after they were minted, tucked away by families who never understood their significance. These discoveries fuel the belief that unimaginable wealth can hide inside the smallest objects. The idea that a single coin could transform a person's fortune overnight is not just fantasy. It is rooted in real moments from numismatic history. The myth of million-dollar coins grows strongest around pieces that combine historical importance with extreme rarity. A 1945 Jefferson nickel in near-perfect condition, with exceptional eye appeal and a remarkable anomaly, enters a realm where normal pricing no longer applies. In that world, collectors are not buying metal, they are competing for history. What makes this coin so emotionally powerful is its timing. It represents the final chapter of wartime coinage, the last breath of an era defined by sacrifice. Every scratch, every surviving detail tells a story of movement, trade, and recovery. Owning such a coin feels like holding a fragment of that moment frozen in time. Many people unknowingly dismiss these nickels because they assume age alone creates value. In reality, value is created when rarity meets demand and condition meets story. A heavily worn 1945 nickel may be common, but a sharply preserved example with extraordinary characteristics can stand among elite collectibles. This is why experts always warn against careless handling. A single fingerprint, a cleaning attempt, or a careless drop can permanently destroy value. Coins with true potential must be treated with patience and respect, because once damage is done, history cannot be repaired. The belief that a coin can change a life overnight comes from the few examples that truly do. Those moments when an overlooked piece is authenticated, recognized, and suddenly desired by the highest level of collectors. These moments are rare, but they are real, and they are what keep people searching. Not every 1945 Jefferson nickel will unlock unimaginable wealth, but the rarest survivors are proof that destiny sometimes hides quietly. They remind us that knowledge is power, patience is priceless, and history rewards those who look closely instead of passing things by. In the end, the 1945 Jefferson nickel is more than a 5-cent coin. It is a witness to the end of war, a relic of adaptation, and a symbol of possibility. Whether resting in a collection or waiting to be rediscovered, it stands as a reminder that fortune does not always arrive loudly. Sometimes it waits silently, hoping you recognize it before letting it go.